Before we get to not Vince Vaughn and not Bill Lawrence, but the captain of a nearby boat on a video that we showed of a whale knocking another boat out of the water. That captain will join us in about 10 minutes. Before we do that, though, because we have this collection of people here today, Zaslow, an old-timey sports radio host. Tony, whose father invented old-timey sports radio. Stu Gatz right now isn't here with us because his love of sports radio is so large that he misses what WFAN does. I wanted to have a conversation with you guys about what happened and has happened most recently with the disappearance of Max Kellerman. Max Kellerman, who has vanished as the sports media debate ecosystem has shaken enough that Zaslow pointed at his television up here earlier and just said, that guy, when pointing at Skip Bayless and watching, the 50,000 people left of whatever that following is. Right before football season, Skip Bayless is going to be gone. Max Kellerman, at the center of those wars, was collateral damage on something. And if you were watching what was happening with us at ESPN, they tried to kill Max Kellerman after we left by giving him the morning sports radio show. And the reason I bring you into this, Zaslow, is because I believe ESPN's strategy of figuring out that most people are disposable, including, they're saying, Stephen A. Smith, when Burt Magnus talks about, well, we'll go on without Stephen A. Smith publicly. You are the beneficiary of what it is has changed at ESPN, where they've realized they can get person who is a professional radio host, and they don't have to give the Max Kellermans of the world the morning radio slot. Max Kellerman was a prodigy in this business. Max Kellerman is exhibit A on how you have to be careful about how disposable the pieces can be, because before Around the Horn, he hosted IMAX on ESPN. Before PTI, he hosted IMAX. And the way he got replaced was, I'm more valuable than this. And they said, no, you're not. Tony Reale was an intern on Pardon the Interruption. They went physically down a hallway, got the guy who happened to be there, and he's hosted that show for 20 years since.
Yeah,
because
he hosted Around the Horn. You said IMAX, which is where he went to when he went on Fox Sports Net.
Yeah. Forgive me. Yes, you're correct. That the original incarnation of Around the Horn was with Max Kellerman as host. He thought he was more valuable than that. He was a prodigy. He was a prodigy in sports television and sports radio.
Greatest orator since Martin Luther King, right?
According to him, yes. And he has, I will tell this story. I don't think you guys know this story either.
I can give you an answer on what's happened to him, by the way.
I have an answer, and I know what's happened to him because it's what they tried to do to us. I don't believe when we were negotiating at the end with ESPN over our intellectual property, I don't believe they know that the amount of value that they were giving us in those negotiations. When I was in those negotiations, I was coming to realize, they don't know that these feeds are this valuable. But the most scared I was during those negotiations was when they were suggesting doing to us what they did do to Max Kellerman, which is just, we'll pay you for the end of the contract. You can get the money and not have to work, but we're going to put you on the shelf for 18 months. And then you can see after the pandemic how all of that goes as you try to reinvent it after 18 months. That's a long time. Kellerman, after being on everything ESPN was doing, Kellerman has disappeared. Kellerman, a friend. Kellerman, whose talents I value, and I don't know how many people have noticed.
Well, they're hoping not many, because that's the whole intention behind that stuff. It's also depending on. I don't think Max is like this, but depending on the character of the individual. Sweet, amazing. I don't have to really do anything. And,
no, Max is like that. Max, because they were trying to kill him, Max is relieved from not having to avoid being killed anymore.
Yeah,
because the schedule he was keeping, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then a show at 2 p.m. as well on television, impossible.
Yeah, there are worse situations to have than being paid like the entirety of your contract for the term and just being asked not to work.
Has something happened recently with Kellerman where you said I found out what has happened to him recently?
I only found out
recent.
I only found out because Dan was like wondering aloud, and I saw a clip that he should be reemerging soon because the term is about to lapse.
Gotcha.
And I was just sort of throwing in front of the audience the idea of here was a person, unquestionably a star at ESPN. Unquestionably, I would say a star since he was like 15 or 16 years old on New York Access Television doing boxing expertise. Somebody who had sophisticated knowledge on a variety of different subjects, and how quickly someone of even that name value in a changing industry can be replaced. And the reason I bring it up to you, Zaslow, is because I believe what ESPN has done in general with radio, while trying to profit off of the remaining embers that there are in this economy, is find a person who is a professional radio host, and you don't have to go pay the person. You don't even have to make them an employee. Just make them a contract, appearance-based person and do it in a way that is maximum professional, but you don't need name value. We will roll through here people who are good radio hosts.
I think I've gotten lucky in that regard. I've been with ESPN Radio for almost a year now, and I think what's going on now is probably different than what was going on before, where and I started doing stuff with them when they changed the lineups in the most recent lineup. It feels like they hired radio people all across their day part, all across their lineup.
I'm a fan of what they're doing because
it's radio people now, and that's where I've been able to fit in because, like, I'm a radio person. And I got my shtick, but I feel like I've been doing it long enough now that everyone's kind of in on the joke. But I don't know if I'd have been able to do what I'm doing right now with ESPN Radio if it was 2 years ago. I feel like it's in a really good place where I have gotten lucky with the time.
Yeah, and I'm going to try to be careful to navigate this because you do work on ESPN. But ever since they went on that licensing deal, when we were at ESPN, we stuck out, I think, in large part due to them realizing with Mike and Mike, we can put two talents together that we're not really sure where they fit in. Let's put them on radio and magic will happen. Well, those guys were unique. Those guys were ultra talented and they had a really good chemistry. What they got away from was usually you have proving grounds locally and then you get the network gig and you have refined your chemistry through years and years. What it became all too often, and many of our friends were stuck in this situation, is, all right, well, you have this new talent deal over at ESPN. There's some language there about audio. We'll figure out what to do. And they'll just pair strangers together all too often, and they have to work out the chemistry, and that takes a really long time. Remember about the first year of our show, Dan? Like, if we were in a high-pressure situation on an ESPN radio marquee, I don't know if our show survives if they just put you in a room with another talent and say, hey, figure this out, and you were ultra-talented.
Given, I would not describe myself that way.
You're one of the goats when it comes to audio, dude. Don't sell yourself short.
This is where it is that I think some of these things are interchangeable. The thing that we have that is unusual is an audience stickiness that I don't believe will go where Bayless goes, for example. The allegiances that you need, the intimacy that makes sports radio something that is different, you have to be careful with that, even when you're Colin Cowherd, somebody who's got allegiances, because you need the allegiances to be so strong that you feel like you know this person and you're spending 3 hours a day with them. And if they're replaced by someone else, you don't want someone else. But the thing that I wanted to present to you guys, if we'd gotten stuck with what you're saying is a desirable scenario, which is, hey, pay me for 18 months to not work. And I had to, like Anchorman, appear from the bar disheveled and blow into a conch shell to assemble my news team again, because all of us had gone in our different directions for 18 months. And I now had to go get Billy and Roy and Mike and Chris from whatever they were doing over those 18 months. What other jobs do you think you guys would have gotten gotten into because our
Well, it would have to be unrelated. So, like, longshoreman is back in play
Just
for Roy.
hemorrhaging money in poker.
Yeah. It's not like I'd pop up at Jefferson Pilot Sports. There would be express language that I couldn't be doing that. So maybe super follows, cameos.
Cameo would be back.
OnlyFans.
Billy, if I'm blowing into the conch shell, Billy, news team assemble. Where is it that I would have been pulling you out of?
I mean, I think I'd still be working in the industry.
But where?
But you couldn't, like, language says, like,
Well,
throughout
I didn't
the
have
term.
a contract. I could have.
Yeah,
I would have just moved.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you could have just gone.
Yeah,
So you would have moved out of Florida?
if I had to for work.
Where is the industry right now? Can the industry outside of I'm talking about sports radio.
A lot of it resides in South Florida, given the ESPN lineup in terms of the talents that they're using. But again, it's more of a licensing. It's more of a licensing deal. The industry, Sugats is exploring what the industry looks like right now in a market where radio is still like strong. Which is kind of like it's always going to matter in New York. There's such an identity tied to their local radio. It's a bit different over there, but we're all trying to figure it out. Look, we thought the industry was headed a certain place, and then we quickly learned that while we have our audio feeds, we also have to transition a little bit more and lean into video and build that out robustly. There was a strategy. We did have that offer, but we felt it imperative to continue the momentum of the show because in a free, open market, it's harder to argue, hey, we're going to be a success outside of ESPN if you haven't already shown it. And thankfully, we grew our audio audience after we left ESPN, and that was the bet that we made.
I would have done a little this, little that, you know.
Little import-export.
Yeah,
My man.
yeah. Tony was at ESPN like for a great deal after we had left.
I would have just been blowing into a conch shell, and Chris would have been wandering in from the Dania Highlight Poker tournament on a.
When you put it that way, there might be some regret. Because there is a certain like Defo type of romanticization of that.
I will tell you that Kellerman is relieved to not be sprinting on a treadmill anymore the way that he was. Can you imagine? Zaslow, we all saw Zaslow age about 18 years and 18 months.
I've slowed down the process over the last couple of years,
but
right?
morning radio. Wait till you see.
Right?
Wait till you see how the shape Stugatz.
I wear my hat backwards
Agree
now.
with me.
When you see Stugatz come in here on Monday, he's going to be broken from 3 days of not
it's
having
so
the
hard.
stamina for morning radio
Are
anymore.
we sure he's going to be here Monday? Because I keep getting asked for planning purposes. I'm like, I didn't know he wasn't going to be here this week.
There is one time, and this is like, if you're a fan of us, a legacy listener, you might know who Brandon Guzio is. Brandon Guzio told me one time he did go to
I
Defoe's
was thinking
house.
about him the other day.
I was thinking about him too. And I'm thinking about him right now because he told me like one time he went to Defoe's apartment and there was his TV was a small TV, it was on a racing TV channel, and it was on top of a mini fridge.
The time.
And there is a multiverse version of me where that's my life, and I'm not upset with it.
I don't think Defoe's got any problem
No,
with that
Defoe had
being
it figured
his
it out.
life.
He figured it out, man.
No.
He's at a car dealership doing trivia, saying the time.
He divorced himself from every relationship and society so that he could sit in front of a television that was televising Pimlico.
There are
the third race at Pimlico.
there are aspects of that to people that aren't in it seem sad.
No.
But there is
What
a
are you
large
talking
part of me
about?
that's like,
that looks like heaven to me.
dude, if something goes wrong with my marriage, that's going to be me. That's going to be me.
I fantasize about being a 97-year-old with a heroin addiction who grabs the Chinese food that's left over from the night before, the honey chicken.
Gotta be
and
cold.
Cold.
Sits in front
Not
of
enough time for that micro.
the third rate at Santa Anita. If
That Chris
if I
Felica
woke
told me
up
he's got a
late-
good feeling about.
Felica's still around?
Dude, Felica is good for those tips in the group chat.
What do you mean? Is he still around? around? Isn't he?
No, in your heaven where you're 97, Felica's still around
He's
giving
still
It's
doing
not
it.
heaven if Falika's not there.
What are you talking about? My heaven is much too bare, B-A-R-E, if it doesn't have the bear in the middle of it, giving off gambling advice. We're going to get to this Wyatt Yager in a second because he tried to speed off and flee whale breaching.
We're not so sure about that.
No.
I think he was
Okay.
going back.
No,
He's
we
going
were
back.
restoring.
I know what someone who's about to dip looks like. I saw that.
Okay,
That's someone
well,
who's gonna
we're
dip.
accusing him of being a fleer. Let's
Not
play
all of us.
that video. Let's just show that video again of a whale breaching in New Hampshire yesterday. Just totally horrifying. And there he is. There's Wyatt.
See ya.
He looks like
I just noticed Wyatt has a line in the water and has to make the quick decision.
Watch
with
his
the-
hand. I'm telling you,
That's
a
a
U-turn.
U-turn.
He's
That's
starting
a U-turn.
U-turn there,
Yep.
guys.
Okay, we're going to find out from him. He will have answers. He's joining us from the same dock where he and his 16-year-old brother Colin launched their boat before the accident that we've seen here. Wyatt, thank you for joining us. We appreciate it. Can you take us through what happened here? How weird this was?
Yeah, this was actually crazy. So we got there, we saw this whale started making its way over, and it was feeding on those pogies, the bait fish, and it started breaching a few times, and then all of a sudden it breached up super high and hit the boat and flipped him over.
And so what was happening with the person who's on that boat? Do you know that person?
No, we didn't know them, but we went over and picked them up and we
Aha!
talked to them.
You're a hero.
We got them. We got them.
You're a hero.
Well, there were about 5 or 10 other boats there, and
Who
they
was
all
you got
first?
there
rowed over.
first.
Wyatt,
You got
who
there-
was first?
Yeah.
You?
What? Sorry.
Who was there first?
We were there first.
No,
my
you're the
man,
hero.
Wyatt.
Wow. So
Thank
you immediately turned around to go check on them?
Yep.
Were you worried that, wait, is this a rogue whale? Is this whale going to do this again?
Honestly, looking back at the video, it kind of should have crossed my mind, but it didn't cross my mind in the moment.
You went into hero
I
mode.
was- Yeah, well, I was pretty scared, like, for them and just scared, like, what just happened. But I kind of had a duty to just go help them.
That is how
Dude,
heroes
no
do
hesitation.
interviews right there. That is that you don't think about yourself, you just go into heroism mode. Can you tell us the people who were on the boat, tell us what condition they were in, how scared they were, what level of surprise they were under?
This was kind of crazy to me too, that they were fine. They were kind of laughing, like smiling, like, wow, that was pretty cool. Like they were obviously a little bit shooken up because I don't think anyone can just walk away from that totally fine, but they were in good spirits. They they thought it was pretty cool and they were just happy to be alive.
How long were they in the water?
They said under a minute. I'd say it's hard for me to remember, but between a minute and 2 minutes, I'd say.
How did, like, their boat was capsized, right? How did we get
Yep.
it back, to normal?
When me and my brother were heading in, we saw a rescue team. I think they went under the boat and filled up some buoys or something and flipped it over and then towed it back in. I'm not exactly sure on the process, but I think that's what
Is
they
the
did.
boat now fine? The boat that was capsized is now usable the next day?
Other than the motor got a little bit crushed. But other than that, the boat is pretty much perfectly fine.
You know the internet these days, there were people theorizing that, this whale exacted some revenge because they were too close to it and there were probably signs that this whale was agitated. To you, were there any signs that this was a possibility with this whale?
No, I wouldn't say so. It was just simply, it was feeding on the fish. Looking back at it, we all could have maybe been like a little bit farther back, but we were trying to stay on the edge of the school of fish for other boaters, like other fishermen too. But I don't think it was just a crazy mistake.
You catch anything good that day?
How they bite?
Oh
you?
yeah,
Oh
they
yeah.
were insane. Best I've ever had.
Whoa.
What'd you get?
I got a 49-inch striper. It's probably about 50 pounds, and then we caught some other like in between 35 and 45 striper.
Hell yeah.
Were you pissed that this ruined your day? Like now you have to go take this dummy in because his boat got knocked over by a whale?
No, we could have totally gone back out like 10 minutes after. We dropped them off with their friend, and we were debating like it didn't ruin our day at all. We could have went back out if we wanted to.
This was the best fishing day of your life?
Yeah. I caught the best fish I have, and my brother caught the coolest video.
Okay, so you're saying it's not just that you remember the fishing, you are also enjoying this hero's lap that you get to take all of a sudden. Look at you doing interviews. Look at you.
beaming.
So you have a fish story. You have an amazing day, and every fisherman wants a story like this.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. Yeah, just because everyone was okay. The whale was okay. The boat was okay. It was a pretty cool experience looking back at it. And the fishing was great. It was a good day, definitely. But I'm just glad everyone was okay.
That is an important part to say. You've got that part of the hero's interview right. You've got it down. It's a good thing that no one was hurt here. My fishing day would have been ruined if somebody's father had died.
How many people did you send the video to before you posted it on social media?
I sent it to my family group chat, and then I sent it to some of my friends. And then we tried to sell the video because the people in the boat were like, "You guys should totally sell that video." So we're like looking into that, and it didn't really work out. So we just posted it on our stories, and then I think someone got a hold of it.
Take me through some of the negotiations and the sad offers you got. Like,
How did that go?
Did you call TMZ? Like, how did the sales portion of this go before you abandoned it?
What was the asking price?
We were lost. We had no clue like anything
Not a good
about
starting
this whole
point.
process. We started calling up like just like the local news because we had no idea like who would want this or like we had no idea what we were doing.
What's the pitch? Do you say we have a video? Do you want to buy it?
$20.
Yeah, it was pretty much like that. Like, we got this cool video if you guys want it.
Yeah, your negotiation needs some work. Can you tell us about the good responses that you got from some of the people you did send it to before you tried to sell it for $20?
My friends were going crazy. They were like, "What just happened?" Like, they were very confused.
Laughing their asses off.
Yeah. When they heard everyone was okay, like it was just
Like when everyone's all right.
everyone's first reaction was, "Is everyone okay?" But yeah, it was.
Is it
pretty
okay
funny.
to laugh at this now? Is because no one has actually died in the making of this video. Wyatt, thank you for being on with us. You're an American hero. We appreciate your work.
Thank you, Wyatt.
I apologize for doubting your
We
heroism.
apologize to you for thinking
No
that
worries.
you were immediately fleeing. You looked like you were scared. You
Yeah,
did.
you did.
You didn't look like
Yeah.
a hero jumping into action. You looked like someone fleeing a crime.
Oh yeah, well, it's all good.
It is all good. No one was hurt in the making of this video, except for Wyatt's feelings because he tried to sell it and it was pathetic the way that all of that went.
And that 150 Yamaha.
Yes, and then the motor
Yeah.
of the 150 Yamaha. Thank you, Wyatt. Appreciate the time, sir.
Are you
course.
regretting not coming
Thank
up
you.
with a catchphrase afterwards? Like if you would have said Hawk Tua, you could have like won millions.
Yes, you could have.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, I kind of hate all the. I wouldn't say I hate the attention, but
That's pretty good.
it's cool. But
Doing
it's
an
getting
interview.
to a
I
point.
looked at the camera and said, "We're having a whale of a day." And they're like,
I'm not. I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm very happy.
Because no one was hurt.
Right.
Because no one
Yeah.
was hurt.
important.
Exactly.
Hero.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Thank you, Wyatt.
Beers on
Thank
me
you for
next
having
time when you're of age.
Wyatt and LeBron both uncomfortable with praise.
That's right. It's time for Against the Spread. And it is brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear what DraftKings has to offer all throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Tony, kick us off.
All right, guys. Well, Olympic time happening right now. Obviously, the games are started. The opening ceremony is yet to be done, so we're still trying to figure that part out. But I'm going to go into the Olympic canoeing slalom. a very important exercise. We've got
Tony, I'm going to need your energy to be just a little quicker, a little faster here, and some of your word choices to be a little bit better.
Let my boy cook.
Adam Burgess from Great Britain. He is plus 900 in the canoeing slalom for this year. We're locking in Adam Burgess
The spread.
against the spread.
That is a future.
We can't
Not a
do
spread.
this poorly. We can't. We're in a contract year. We have to do better than this.
Mike,
I
over
got
to you.
us. I got us. All right. I did a lot of prep on this. Zach Eflin. He's a pitcher. He pitches for Tampa Bay.
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's coming off a bad start. And so I looked at who he's playing today. It's the Toronto Blue Jays. Last time he pitched against them, didn't turn out so good. So let's keep with that trend. I'm going to take the Blue Jays. Only minus 180 in some books for plus 1.5 against the spread.
Spread. All right, Dan, last week on Against the Spread, me and the Blacksmiths told you pound that steel. Take Justin Steele. He can't miss. He's been hot. He's had 2 great back-to-back starts, and guess what? He missed.
Wow.
But you know what happens with the Blacksmiths? You miss once, you keep pounding that steel. You don't miss again. And today, Justin Steele takes on the Brewers, and they're minus 1.5. Pound that steel. Justin Steele against the spread. Mike
Can I
gets it.
redo mine? Because what happened was I didn't know Chris was going to throw it to me, and he threw it to me. I was on the canoeing slalom.
No.
So it was tough.
You're good.
I like Tyler Glass now, by the way, tonight against the
With the Dodgers?
Bonus
Bonus
Dodgers, yeah.
spread.
I like Tyler
spread.
Glass now against the Giants
Bonus
tonight.
spread.
In a contract year, we cannot be betting canoeing.
It's an Olympics
It's the
year.
Olympics.
What are we
Yeah.
supposed to do? It lined up
It's the
perfectly.
Olympics.
The
But
stars have aligned.
But where you should seize on
It's
this,
also a slalom.
That's not a spread. That was a future. So
The
like, he
spread.
cleaned it up.
Future is the spread.
All right. Thank
Bonus
you
spread.
for nothing. We have to do
Pound
better
that steel.
over the course of the next year for DraftKings. We have a very good deal with DraftKings that is about to expire, and it is something that we should protect and honor better than we just did there, stammering our way through that segment the way that you guys did.
I said 3 things that were all right. Yeah. Zach Eflin, name right. Boom. He's a Ray. Got that right. Boom. They're playing the Blue
bet
Jays.
the Blue Jays, though. They can't score against anybody, and you're out here
Well,
betting the Blue
apparently they
Jays.
can score against Zach Eflin.
I want to spin the wheel. We have a lot of issues that we have not gotten to. And Zaslow, I need you to pick from these topics on the wheel.
All right,
we
let me
have
hear it.
an emotional Jim Leland. We have Greg Cody inexplicably ripping Michael Phelps yesterday. We have Taylor Walls of the Rays, the aforementioned Rays, doing a Donald Trump celebration. We have Alpha Brain. That Mike Ryan can't stop taking to try and improve his brain power. We have some ACC news. We have Lionel Messi, and we have something that Jim Harbaugh
I'm ready.
has said about Lamar Jackson. So let's spin the wheel and have Zazzo tell us where it is that wheel has landed. What subject?
Oh, Greg Cody, Michael Phelps conversation. Yes, I like it.
Okay, so yesterday on the show, out of nowhere, trying to up his notoriety after taking out Connor McDavid during the Stanley Cup final and making the NHL final about himself, Greg Cody objected to a list of top 100 athletes
Yep.
by saying your number one athlete on that list cannot be an athlete that we care about, or actually said that we can give a shit about, that we don't give a shit about except for 2 weeks out of every 4 years.
Totally agree. That's a fair point that he made there, but that's not even the point that I would make. The point that I'm making is Michael Phelps is the greatest athlete since the year 2000. You're telling me you put Michael Phelps right here in front of me, and right here is LeBron James. And I'm supposed to go Michael Phelps? Greatest athletes? No. No, I don't like that at all.
More dominant, like more distance between him and the nearest competitor than whatever the distance would be between LeBron and the nearest competitor.
But here's also the thing. Michael Phelps, there's not another swimmer trying to prevent him from being great at swimming. Everything LeBron James is trying to accomplish, there are other guys trying to prevent him from doing that.
Well, all the other swimmers are trying to prevent Michael Phelps from finishing before they do.
No, they're all trying to be fastest, but they're not in Michael Phelps's lane and pushing him out of the way and making him go slow. They're not tugging on his leg and not allowing him to touch the wall. They're not pushing him under the water so that he drowns and doesn't finish. All of that's happening to someone like LeBron.
Chris Cody, is Michael Phelps the greatest at anything to hang up on our show when we had him on and we tried to just ask him questions about whether or not he was using his fame in order to accrue things, and he was taking our interview very seriously?
Do you go into the nightclub with these Kellogg's products and just drop them on the floor with your face on them?
Sorry, I think we have to head to the next interview, but sorry, thank you very much for your time.
All right, Michael, good talking to you. I didn't even get to ask
I didn't say it. Like I was a joke. That was ridiculous.
What did he call you at the end?
Mike, you're wincing. I see you wincing there at the memory of that.
Everything's a joke to these guys. Oh, they're so irreverent.
That's how we became Zippy and the Juice.
No one respects the Olympics. By the way, can I give you guys an Olympic update? While everybody was focusing on the corruption in saber fencing, what happened on the pitch in soccer was an outrage today between Argentina and Morocco. A damn crime. Ridiculous. 16 minutes of extra time was added at the end of the game to allow Argentina to score and tie the game and have it end as a tie.
And Daddy needed that tie.
16 minutes of extra time. How's that possible?
I don't know how it's possible. I kept asking in the group chat because I was doing the show. Was there a water break that I missed? I didn't see a VAR. How was there 16 minutes? Also, the finishing sequence of that game was incredible.
It was 3 out of 5 booms. Boom!
You bet
He doesn't get that.
that they wouldn't lose?
I bet midway through the game when Argentina was down and they're the better side, I bet to tie. And then I was like, oh, crap, they're going. And then I saw 15 minutes. I was like, let's go.
What? Oh, sorry. Zaslow,
That was Pearl Jam.
that was Zaslow's phone. You owe $5, Zaslow.
Is that given to fly? Even flow.
Where's your money?
I got.
Wow, did I beat Shazam? Was it given to fly?
It was.
Woo!
Pearl Jam.
That Alpha Brain.
That is so
It
much.
is. Whoa. Bones.
That is so on brand. Zaslow's phone playing some Pearl Jam.
I couldn't have constructed a hypothetical. Did you do that on purpose?
No.
You would pick the yellow lead better?
Speaking of the Olympics, are we going to do our draft on who is covering what sports? Because we really do. We're headed into a period here of a couple of weeks where we need to get up to date on what's happening in the Olympics. I'm selecting breakdancing. I want that to be the sport that I am covering. But how are we going to do this draft? Do we have an order?
Well,
on
it just started. Dan was first. Zaslow, you're next.
Yeah, apparently the guy whose name's on the show says, I'm taking this first.
That's fine. And then you can figure out how you're doing the
So
rest
I get
of
to
the-
cover whatever sport I want.
Yes, and
Obscure
we'll
sport.
check in with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going wrestling. I mean, the U.S. has got a squad. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns,
American
Randy
Nightmare.
Orton.
RKO.
You're going to actually be our wrestling correspondent. We're going to go for a minute of coverage. We're going to do this the way that we do the F1 minute with Jessica that we didn't get this week that we should have gotten
I mean,
yesterday.
it wasn't even the best race.
Who's picking next in
It was
our,
a brickyard.
in our draft?
I'll go next. I'm going to take beach volleyball.
Damn.
See how Chase Buddinger's doing.
Damn. You also had the best vista because
Oh, man, you see
dude,
that
it's
thing?
incredible. I was gonna go there. That's a good pick.
Looks like I'm next because of against the spread. I'm going to take canoe slalom.
Wow. You left canoe sprint out there, huh?
It's good value.
Just in case.
What is canoe slalom? What is
You know how
it?
slalom on skis, you're going through the things, you're just canoeing.
Yeah, there's obstacles. Where sprint
on
is
snow.
like you just go as fast as possible.
Are you guys looking forward to discovering some of the sports? Because every year at this time, all of a sudden, someone gets real excited about handball or badminton or something where they weren't excited before, and then they see it and they're like, "Oh, that's more interesting than I thought it was."
Yeah. Man, I'm really frustrated at this board. You guys have made some good picks.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go with a light lift. I mean, how can I break down weightlifting? Well, one guy just lifted more than the other. Good for him, I guess. He didn't pee himself.
Some guy shit himself.
Yeah, so I'm going to go weightlifting.
You say that, Chris.
I'm in a group chat that follows weightlifting, so like I'm gonna outsource the work for me.
I've told you the story before, Chris, of how it is that I became someone aware of the nation of Qatar. Just knowing that it existed. I'd never heard of it, how to spell it, anything. At an Olympics I was at where Qatar was trying to legitimize itself by buying a bunch of Bulgarian weightlifters who were on steroids, all of whom were fleeing the Olympic Village with diarrhea because of the amount of diuretics they were taking to get around the cheating. But they helped launder the money for Qatar, so it is now the giant Olympic country that you now know because they bought a bunch of Bulgarian weightlifters.
This may be a controversial take for someone that is known to cover the sport as I do, but I'm good with steroids and weightlifting. More.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju, at Batard Show. Are you more okay with steroids and weightlifting than you are in other sports with your sliding scale of moralities? I was really alarmed by the rest of you having zero interest in Pablo giving you the cheating information that an Olympic sport is totally corrupt through Putin.
He was giving you the veggies. We were giving you the French fries. Yeah. It's a dance. For everybody that wasn't into fencing and match fixing and oligarchs, we were there with the non-sex beds.
We're more worried about Pablo, to be honest. Like,
yeah, for real.
He's risking it all for saber fencing. He's going to end up getting pushed out of a window and be like, damn, that's crazy.
That happens a lot.
Yeah.
You got to fix those damn windows over there.
It's not the hill you would expect a journalist to want to die on.
Well, it ain't going to be a hill. It's going to be a windowsill.
Yeah, it's definitely a window.
You land on a hill.
Always a window.
You can land
well,
on
if he's got a shot if he lands on a hill.
Just got to make sure we tell his story.
Billy, what are you going to end up covering?
I'm going to do trampoline.
Ah, damn it.
Yeah.
That was on my list.
Is this a snake draft? Do I now go again?
You should.
Ooh, that's true.
No, I think we're just covering.
Dan goes next.
I'm not covering multiple sports.
Well, why not?
Whoa.
It's two each. We
It's
agree.
2 each.
Didn't you go to Barcelona?
I'm covering breakdancing and
Hawaiian
only
pizza.
breakdancing.
Why?
Well, does that mean you also get poppin' locks?
What else are you guys covering?
Is the
What
guy
else?
that goes, Jesus Christ, is he in this?
All right, you're next.
Just
I'm
missed the
just
cut.
doing
No, it's a
breakdancing.
snake.
Zaslow.
No, it's a snake
Final
draft.
pick.
Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah,
Stugatz isn't here.
Jesus Christ.
I'm going to go flag football.
Not
That's not
available.
available. So
Next
Mike
there was
Fuentes gave us
confusion.
this list
It's
and-
on the Olympic. We got this from Olympics.com, not to do a Stugatz bit.
Not till
But
2026.
it's an Olympic sport, but not in this one. So sorry.
All right. Well, then I'm obviously going to go with modern pentathlon.
Okay.
That goes without saying.
I know what that is, but tell the group.
That's it.
Damn.
Well, I mean, there's regular and then there's modern. I'm doing modern.
There's old-fashioned.
Modern
I'm more of a
pentathlon.
Greco-Roman pentathlon.
Don't ask me about the regular because I'm only going to do modern.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with equestrian.
What happened to the snake draft? There's no order. There's chaos here.
Dan just picked one.
I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, but Dan gave up his second
You better
pick,
be
so-
serious about this.
I'm
if there's a break in competition that you're not on, I'm going to be really disappointed
Yeah.
considering you had first pick.
I'm going with my second pick, artistic swimming.
Wow, I can't believe you guys left me rhythmic gymnastics, but you did.
What is artistic swimming?
You got it.
He's going to find
It's
out.
like the
You-
group-
no, think
it's
about
like-
what artistic swimming is.
It's like
Is
a
it- you got it.
1940s musical.
Synchronized swimming?
It can be
No,
whatever, it can be
God,
whatever you
no.
want.
Well,
No.
no, it is synchronized.
No,
It better be.
It's
No.
If
synchronized,
you want a
but
medal,
do not
it
call it
is.
It's in
synchronized
the eye
swimming.
of the beholder.
Thank you.
Artistic. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing rhythmic gymnastics, which I hope is like a ribbon.
I like my two sports.
Are you guys aware that I've tried to do synchronized swimming with the U.S. women's team?
What does that mean?
That I have been in a pool
And you didn't make it?
in Atlanta while they were doing what they were doing, and I was trying to do it with them.
Invited or as a creeper?
You just saw them and you dove
You
in.
jumped in the pool?
I saw a video of a dude
This is
doing
for
that.
me.
I saw a video of a dude doing that at Montreal Canadiens practice. He just hopped on the rink and took a couple shots at Jose Theodore.
I was overcome with inspiration. I was just walking by to the commissary, and I saw that they were practicing, and I'm like,
I'm
I'll
good at
join
this.
whether I'm invited or not. And I just put on, my Speedo and ran out
Do you
there.
think it's like a Rookie of the Year situation? Who the hell is that? He's incredible. He's amazing.
I assure you that's not what it was. I actually did. Was that a snort somewhere
that was
that I
me.
heard?
That was me.
I actually kicked one of the girls in the face accidentally while trying to execute a spin. Yeah, that happened. Billy, what are you? What is the second sport you're taking?
I think I'm going to do sport climbing.
What is that?
It's sport climbing. It's
I
like
hope-
rock climbing.
Hopefully
but
it's more
I think it's
parkour.
speed. I think it's speed
I
rock
like
climbing.
him. Big fan of his.
You guys have no idea the sports you're selecting.
Well, yeah.
Well, this is
allowed
also
to
like
select
a
the ones we
cultural.
knew.
Yeah, this is a cultural exchange. We're in this to learn.
So you're going to teach us over the course of coming weeks, like I'm going to teach you about breakdance.
B boys and B girls.
Okay.
And there's
Well,
still
you get another one, Dan.
there's still more sports. We'll have Jess pick a couple. Like we'll have my dad pick a couple. So we're
Yeah,
good.
because this went really well.
I didn't feel like it did. It was something that I regretted almost immediately
Well,
after
yeah.
we started.
You
Why'd
just
you
decided I'm only having one sport.
Yeah.
so
Why
I
did you
kinda
do
have to go
BMX
with it.
freestyle, Dan?
Because
it's like
I'm
the
not
breakdancing
following
of BMX.
multiple. I'm not going to follow multiple sports
Why?
here because I'm not
Putting you down for
interested.
boxing. You have a good experience with that. I'm putting you down.
Dan
for boxing.
Sugar.
Cubans are good at that historically.
I'm good at sugar. That I am good at. Can you guys explain to me, because I have not been able to lure Billy into a discussion on what it is that's actually going on with Messi and Inter Miami. Mike Ryan continues to be interested in this soccer team for a lot of different reasons that don't have to do with Messi. You're a season ticket holder, are
I
you
am.
not?
I'm an inaugural season ticket holder in Miami. Yes, I'm taking a bath this last week because I sell all my tickets. I don't go to the games. I don't want to go to the games. I want to make that money. Matter of fact, I have a friend who I used to split the tickets with. He didn't want to do it with me again this year because the ticket price went up so much. Mike Ryan knows about that. But I'm like, nah, I'm in it to win it. I think I'm going to make some money here. And I would sell all the tickets for 2, 3, sometimes 4 times the amount. I send my buddy a gif of the $1 Million Man laughing.
Who you're covering this year for the Olympics?
The who?
Well, so now the last week, I
DiBiase.
can't get. You don't know the $1 Million Man?
What is he
Virgil?
laughing about?
Come on, everybody's
he's
got
so
price.
He's so rich. He's so
R.I.P.
much
Virgil,
richer.
by the way.
$1 million?
He's so much richer than everybody that he just laughs at people because he has more money than they do. That
Everybody's
was the
got
whole
price. So I haven't been able to sell my tickets recently. I had to go last week. I didn't want to go. I had to go. And
did
so,
Messi.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole point. Is that's why I can't give them
Unbelievable.
away. So yeah.
Well, they're playing really well. I know people want to see Messi. There's plenty of stars on the team. This team seems to be really, really, really good. They're running away with the supporter
So why
shield.
won't anyone buy my tickets?
Well, because they want to see Messi. That's the draw. But they begin the Leagues Cup, which I know a lot of people poked holes in how much it meant because it was an inaugural version of the competition. For people like me that follow both Liga MX and MLS, this is a dream competition where you get to see all these matchups and see who goes head to head. But I do think that Inter Miami have really navigated this Messi stuff quite well. It's because their manager, Tata Martino, has shown he came into the league with quite the pedigree, having succeeded within the league, but also abroad. And he knows how to navigate seasons that have a lot of cup competitions, and you're seeing just that. Here, Miami is super deep. Zaz is a season ticket holder, and he literally got up and left while I was speaking.
He did, and he said
Someone bought his seat.
he said moments ago, I had to go to an Inter Miami game as if he was obligated, and then seconds later, he had to go. He left the room in the middle of what it is that we're doing.
He hit us with, I got to jump on a meeting.
Yeah, I'm going to my first Inter Miami match of the season on Saturday. I'm not paying for it. MLS is inviting me, but I'm going to get to see what my old seats look like now, and it'll be kind of sad.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button there.
I'm excited for this competition, and I don't know how many people will watch it without Messi in it, because it did feel like an event last year. I do feel like people were tuning in out of the curiosity to see Messi in that shirt for the first time. But it's a damn good competition.
Is there any particular reason that you made the distinction of I didn't pay for tickets, I didn't do anything?
Because the tickets are really expensive.
Other than get invited by MLS.
Yeah, because I stopped being a season ticket holder because I got priced out.
Same.
It'd be weird if I all of a sudden just bought tickets again. It's not just a principled stand. It's an economic stand. I can't go to these games for the seats that I got used to. I don't want to pal around in the upper deck with
So you
folks.
were really making a distinction in the event that someone called you out on the inconsistency of you got priced out on tickets, you decided to not support the franchise anymore with your dollars because you got priced out, and you were basically filing that as a countermeasure against future criticism for going to a game?
I'm not sure how much criticism I would get. I genuinely don't think people care at all. certainly in this office, about Inter Miami, but it's legit. I got priced out, I'm sad about it. It's not like I stopped following the team. I was like Zaz, a founding season. The first time I was changing my baby, I fielded a call from a ticket rep, and I'm like, I'll be with you in 1 second. These tickets are really important to me because I think Messi's going to be here. So I'm bummed that I'm not a season ticket holder anymore and that I got priced out. But I'm happy that the team is still winning and navigating this Messi injury quite well.
Do you have the group? Do you have an opinion on the local sports fan who buys tickets the way Stugatz bought tickets to the 2010 Miami Heat, only with the intention of profiting off of every ticket and with no intention whatsoever at any point of going to the game, so much so that he just spat at us a form of "I had to go to the game," as if he was given some sort of incarceration sentence?
I'm just I have so much regret because this is such a much better tie-in to Game Time than grilling. Really had to reach for that one.
Tony, you're getting a lot of support. I still say, Juju, please put it on the poll. Better grilling experience, propane or charcoal? Because while I am nobody's idea of a cook, I was just under the certainty that charcoal was better. But a lot of people are agreeing with you, Tony, that the grill is indeed a dad purchase.
Thank you.
You're not, Billy, I'm sorry.
It's a dad purchase after you already it's after you already have children. It's not you wouldn't say I made a dad purchase before your child was born. It's a barbecue while you're still trying to get your child.
It's a griddle. It's not a barbecue. It's a griddle. But no, anything can be anything. I can have a dad purchase be a grill. What does it matter to you?
I'm kind of surprised you didn't go with judo or karate for your draft picks.
Same.
Like, don't you cover MMA?
Yeah,
It's one of the A's in MMA.
No, it's not.
It's one of the M and A's.
Yeah.
Well, it's actually all three.
It's not one of the
When you
R's.
mix them all
Yeah,
up,
yeah,
you gotta
mix
know
them all up.
But these are
yeah.
like it's like a deconstructed mixed
I
martial
don't know,
art.
it's weird. After taking Alpha
Watch a lot of
Brain,
cooking
I have the
shows.
sudden urge to watch judo.
A sudden urge? I
Yeah.
don't think you'll like judo very much as a visual experience.
Oh, well, I'm familiar. I liked the meme of the Brazilian jiu-jitsu guy when someone breaks into his house. I like
And he's
that.
already on his back.
Where he's already on his back.
Yeah, you can't get back on the
find
ground
that-
with somebody who knows jiu-jitsu.
So
That's
I'm now
cool.
reconciling publicly with the fact that I thought I was on the Alpha Brain brand that wasn't the Joe Rogan endorsed Alpha Brain, but Tony.
It's not his endorsed. It's his.
It's
Like, he
his. It's
created
his
it.
company,
Yeah.
and I've already purchased one of his jeans after seeing him kick a heavy punching bag with it. I'm like, wow, those jeans look incredible if I ever learn how to kick like that. And now that I'm on Alpha Brain, I actually think I might be able to kick like that and also shrink maybe 1.5 feet.
How's the Alpha Brain experience going for you?
So the first day that I took it, I actually felt kind of foggy. But then I realized I was on the boat all day doing some day drinking, getting a lot of sun the previous day, so that might have been it. The second day I was trying it, I felt like I had a decent day on the show. I was saying words and not stumbling over myself. I picked up my daughter. I started cooking food. I made an incredible meal. I was putting clothes away. And I called my grandma in a moment that I 100% would have forgotten to call her in. And I was doing all these things at the exact same time. I realized this is probably the Alpha Brain. So yesterday I played sports for the first time on Alpha Brain. Guys, this should be illegal. My reaction time was that of a cat. A 39-year-old cat, but a cat. Much better than creaky old Mike that can't actually get around to certain things. Actually stopped like a 4-game losing streak out there. I'm the oldest guy in my game by like a good 8 years.
After 3 days, you have felt the effects. This sounds like a paid advertisement. This sounds like an endorsement for
I'm about
Joe
to buy it right now.
Joe
I'm
Rogan's
Joe
Alpha
Rogan's
Brain.
Alpha Brain. And also, have you even considered that the Biden ticket should be, it's a little bit fraudulent. A lot of people donated to Joe Biden and not Kamala Harris. Nobody actually voted for her.
I've been told that Pete Rose is shaving, and he's next.
Hey, Pete.
So we've conducted a significant.
Pete, you got me?
We are joint term task force working
Mr.
with a number
Hustle.
of individuals with suspected international terrorism ties, and I've also been very vocal about the fact that since the last time I appeared.
Pete, you got us? Pete Rose, Charlie Hustle. Hello.
Not just of a foreign terrorist conspiracy, which is very much a concern, but even the potential for
Pete, you got me? Mr. Rose.
Perhaps like what we've seen against the concert hall in
Pete.
Russia, for example, but just here in the United States. Well, the 19 suicide bombers overstayed visas respond.
Pete.
Yes. What's your best?
Pete Rose.
Hit King.
Hit King. Pete.
I don't know that I
Pete,
can
you got
give
me?
that.
Hello.
What I can tell you is we have lots of foreign
Hey,
terrorism.
$20 for an autograph.
investigations. But that doesn't mean that all of them came in, illegally or anything like that.
Pete, you got me? Pete.
Pimlico.
Charlie Hustle.
Hawaii football.
High school football games all across the country at the same hour. Bombs and automatic weapons that would produce thousands of casualties from coast to coast in a matter
6.5 point tees.
How likely is such a scenario? Well, what you're describing would require, of course, a lot of coordination. But what I will tell you, and I think you're on to a particularly important point from my perspective, which is
Ellie De La Cruz.
unlike 9/11 attack, which
Chris Sabo.
headquarters on the day of 9/11.
Austin Kearns.
Pete, you got us?
Willie Mopena.
Pete, you got me? Pete Rose.
Scott Rowland.
Pete.
What we're seeing more
Bronson
and more
Arroyo's leg kick.
foreign terrorist threat, and frankly, also best
Deion Sanders. Reggie Sanders. Adam Dunn.
People that it just intelligence community.
Barry Larkin.
Where everyday people
Pete!
live their
Hal Morris.
have now infiltrated our
Pete!
country.
Hello? Hello, sir?
Pete Rose.
We have
Charlie Hustle.
investigations as we speak.
Danny Graves.
To ISIS and its affiliates. We have investigations as we
Pete!
speak that relate to Al Qaeda. We have
Can you turn the
investigations
volume
as
down?
we speak
The
that
volume.
relate to Al Shabaab.
Talking to
We
you.
have
Pete!
investigations as we speak that relate to the Iranian proxies, Hezbollah. And so
Sweet
Irony,
Lou Piniella.
Pete!
itself. What foreign criminal gangs are now in our country?
Hello, sir? Oh,
Pete, you got us? Charlie Hustle.
We actually have investigations.
Ken Griffey Sr.?
MS-13, for
Ken
example.
Griffey Jr.
hear you.
Oh, hello. Hello, sir. Sir,
Hello,
can you hear
Pete,
us?
Pete,
Hello,
Pete,
Pete.
we got you.
Hear you.
Hello?
Oh, you can't hear us.
Okay.
Danny, you said he could hear us.
We shouldn't underestimate how prevalent neighborhood gangs are, really. It's a lot of the gang violence that I'm concerned about.
Try turning the TV up a little.
Posing. Do you believe in betting?
Might be my supplement, but I'm in on whatever is going on in the background. Hello, sir? Hello?
Pete,
Hello?
Charlie Hustle.
Hello?
Check out Pete in
Charlie Hustle in the matter of Pete Rose. It's HBO's original docuseries. First 2 episodes premiere on HBO tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern. The last 2 episodes air tomorrow, and all 4 hours will be available on Max starting later today. That was Pete Rose, our exclusive interview. This was his first interview about that documentary. Thank you, Pete.